Whoops. What's going on, guys? Looking a bit choppy. Hope everything's all right. Let me see. I'll move around. Hopefully it uploads right. I just did a live stream on Facebook with no problem. Hopefully there's no problem here. But looks like I got 3 people on here. I have trial in the federal courthouse tomorrow. The federal government is charging me with creating a disturbance. Now, I don't know if some of you are aware of what happened, but I tried to go and hear a public trial. It was the United States versus Omar Qazi. Omar Qazi has been in federal custody for the last 4 years. He just got a trial in July. I believe July 30th is when his first day of trial was. It ended on August 2nd, I believe, something like that. But I was trying to attend. Not only does this shock the conscience? I mean, a man awaiting trial for 4 years and he's in custody. That's just absurd. We should not have a government operating that way. I tried to go in on a Monday. I went in on Monday. They thought I was trespassed from the federal courthouse, which they've tried to prevent me from going in the past. They've put me in cuffs. They've thrown me down. They've roughed me up pretty bad. They on that Monday of that week, I believe it was July 30th, whatever it was, they tried to stop me from going in. They threw me out. They grabbed me, dragged me out, threw me out the front of the doors. I then waited for Department of Homeland Security. Department of Homeland Security arrived. They heard what I had to say. They heard what the marshals had to say. And Department of Homeland Security said, look, there's no trespass. He has every right to be here. We can't stop him from entering the building. So I entered. I went up to the 6th floor. I went into the courtroom. I was there for the voir dire, the jury selection. I began to feel pain in my back and in my neck. So I decided to go get checked because of the way they pulled me. I had 2 security guards playing tug of war with me. So I decided to go get checked. I went and checked. As I was on my way out, I told security I'm going to need the name of the officers who put hands on me when I come back. So I left, went to the hospital. Sure enough, yes, I did have some injuries. They gave me some medicine to help with the swelling, some antibiotics, some ibuprofen, which kind of helped with the swelling. I rested Tuesday. I returned Wednesday. Wednesday, the jury was deliberating. So I walked in, same thing. The courthouse security said, no, your trespass has been reinstated. I say, no, that mistake has been handled. There's no trespass. There's never been a trespass issued, and nothing can be reinstated. Something that doesn't exist and that has never existed cannot be reinstated. So they disagreed. In the video, I saw the video today. I pretty much reviewed the video. You can see a lot of people know I speak with my hands, and I'm there speaking like I'm speaking now, asking what. I'm trying to be calm and cordial with these guys because I know they're just waiting to go hands-on. They want to pick a fight with me. They then went hands-on. They threw me in handcuffs. Before they threw me in handcuffs, there was people that tried to go in. I moved from their path to allow them to go through the metal detectors. I first placed my items on the metal detector belt so then they can go through the x-ray. That's when they said, no, you're not going, you're not allowed in, your trespass has been reinstated. They asked me to move to the side because people were trying to come in, which I complied with. They go, the other folks, they entered the building. I stood to the side, I leaned up against the wall, and I'm waiting. Nothing happens. They say the marshals are on their way down. The marshals still weren't there. I had 3 other CSOs who came up to me and said, they were arguing with me, and they said, so you're not going to leave? I said, well, you guys said the marshals are on their way down. Long story short, they said, boom, fine. You're not leaving now then. You can't go anywhere. We're arresting you. Monday, they dragged me outside and threw me outside. This day, they just said, no, we're going to take you through the metal detectors. And as I'm going through the metal detectors, you can see my face where I'm just like, kind of confused. I'm shocked, like what the hell's going on? So those of you who say, well, they can't trespass you from a public building, look, we know they can't, they shouldn't. It's unlawful, it's immoral. That is our building. We are the people. We are the rightful rulers of both Congress and the courts. Not to overthrow the Constitution, but the men who pervert the Constitution. Now, many people don't know the Constitution has been perverted because they haven't read it, and I'm pretty sure the CSOs have never read it, but I have. So I understand how you guys feel when you tell me, no, don't comply, start swinging. No, you can't do it that way, because if I would have started acting that way, it would have affected my chances in fighting it in trial. So moving forward, the trial is set for tomorrow. I am facing the creating a disturbance. When I was arrested, they told me I was under arrest for criminal trespass. That's just totally not true. When I get the courthouse footage, I'll try to upload that into my video so you guys can see. Even the most cordial, polite person can be hemmed up and charged with outrageous crimes. Now, some of you may not know what I've done in the past and don't understand some of my activism. I first started coming around. I mean, I've always studied the Constitution. I've always believed in it. But when I saw what happened here in Nevada in regards to the Bundy family, this group of ranchers here who were being extorted and abused by the federal government, the Bureau of Land Management, that's when I got involved. I went to some of the rallies. I went to some of the protests. If you go back and look at some of my videos, I actually go into the courthouse plaza, which is public, with a Lavoy Finicum flag, and I was protesting quietly, silently, cordially. The courthouse security and marshals tried to get me off. They were asking, "Can you please leave?" And again, I told them, "You're asking me," but I'm respectfully declining. I want to stand here and voice my opinion. I disagree with the government's overreach and their abuse, and their use of their redefinition of due process of law has been highly violated. So I wanted to stand there. So that's where all this stems from. They didn't just pick me out of the crowd. I began to speak. I began to turn on my camera and speak into the camera and share my thoughts and share my idea. It's a God-given natural right. I have a right to develop a thought, share what I think, say what I think, and to publish what I say. Government did not grant me that right, and I love that right. I think it's very important that we exercise that right, and that's the first step to a revolution. If you want things to change, if you want a solution, that's the solution for a revolution, and the revolution is the solution. So you go and you speak your mind. You go in and you disagree with the way you're treating the U.S. Constitution. I hate the way that these judges are writing court orders and like proclamations of the king. They're not acting within the U.S. Constitution. They're not acting within the confines of the U.S. Constitution. So they try to pass these court orders, okay, and that's pretty much where I started protesting. So a lot of that happened, and I was targeted out by the courthouse. You guys will see that not only the time I protested with the Lavoy Finicum flag, but I refused to give the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department my date of birth. They came up and said, "Well, we need your date of birth because you tried to enter the building without a valid identification." And I reminded them, that is a courthouse policy enforceable by courthouse officials, and you guys are out of your jurisdiction. They admitted I committed no crime, and they still arrested me for obstruction. What crime was I obstructing? Don't know. In the declaration of arrest, after I was arrested, I get out of jail. I go and I went to the police station and I requested a declaration of arrest because the DA still wasn't ready with discovery. So I was just anxious to know what was their reason and probable cause, and why is the DA pursuing this. Well, in the declaration of arrest, the contacting officer said that he believed that I was armed. He thought I had a gun on me. So that goes to show, guys, cops have a lot of leeway. A lot of these cops can just say, "I thought he was under the influence. I thought he was armed." Doesn't matter that he patted me down and found out that I wasn't armed. They still took me into jail. They said it was a security reason. So that goes to show, guys, that you gotta watch your p's and q's when dealing with law enforcement. I mean, you can always record. They record themselves, but we're seeing them break their own laws on camera. They're kind of just saying, like, they're like gangsters. Like, we don't care. Do something about it. The judges got our back. The prosecutors got our back. Hell, even your lawyer got our back. So that's a bad thing. So that's why I always encourage people, do some auditing. I want more people to be auditing, and um, it is scary, because once you start speaking your mind and you start making sense and you start getting people following you, they start to attack you. As a matter of fact, they went to my work as I was working as a door host, doorman, however you want to put it, doorman. Some people say security, bouncer, so many words for it. Um, I'm at the front door, and I was approached by 3 undercover officers who never identified themselves, plain clothes, no body cam. My firearm was exposed. They disagree. They said my firearm was concealed, and they arrested me for possession of a concealed firearm without a license. And again, the officer asked me, "Is that your firearm?" Of course, it's my firearm. Throw me in cuffs. They said it was concealed. The officer admitted that he saw the firearm. He discerned it. It was discernible by ordinary observation. After he arrests me, puts me in cuffs, 4 more officers come up from behind the building. So that goes to show, guys. I mean, they were there for me. They didn't ask anyone else for a sheriff's card. Now, a sheriff's card is it's a card issued by the sheriffs. Once you do a background check, you do a fingerprint check, and it's required for people who work around slot machines or in the entertainment industry. They check to see if you have any warrants, what kind of crimes you have. It's pretty much a work permit for adults. That's the simple way to put it. Actually, they brought that point up in the narrative of my in this case, in the firearm case. They brought that up, that I called it a permit for adults. I cannot share my opinions without them being uploaded and submitted as evidence against me. Even though I'm just sharing my thoughts and my ideas, they just keep, they want the jury to hear this, so they think I'm just this crazy sovereign citizen who doesn't care about the law and just wants nothing but anarchy. But it's quite the contrary. I want law. I want people to be protected. I want people to be able to protect themselves as well. I want people to accept the responsibilities that come with rights. That's the reason why we're here. That's the reason why our country's in the condition it's in today. A lot of people refuse to accept the rights, the responsibilities that come with rights. So, those are the series of events that happened. That's why I'm being targeted. I know I'm being targeted. My attorneys, both of them, the one for the federal case and the one for the state case, are like, "Yeah, you're being targeted. It's freaking obvious." You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that. I'm not representing myself for the federal case or the firearm case. The firearm case carries a maximum of 5 years in prison. I mean, the deal come at us with a deal. Just plead guilty to a felony and pay a fine and do all that. But I'm not going to plead guilty to a felony. It's absurd. I know I'm innocent and I'm going to fight it. That's just the way to go, guys. But does it stop me knowing that they can come at me again and get me for something else? Absolutely not. I believe in this U.S. Constitution. I believe in it. I don't believe it gives me rights. I believe it clarifies the rights we have as human beings. And I think it's the most beautiful document ever written by mankind. The Bill of Rights, the U.S. Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. I mean, God. I mean, our founders were smart beyond their years. So it's something we have to take advantage of, cherish, learn these laws, read the case laws. Not only read the case laws, don't just read one little part. Actually read the whole case law, because if you're ever in front of a judge and they tell you to discuss the merits of the case and you can't do it, the judge, if you cannot do that task, if you can't perform that task, they're not going to allow you to use that case law in your defense. So what I suggest, guys, is learn your laws, not just your state laws, because a lot of our state laws are repugnant to the Constitution. So if you read it up, look it up, and understand, guys, that there's a lot of laws out there that need to be challenged. Now, our people in office aren't doing anything, so it's time that we get up and do something about it. We need to take our country back by civil disobedience, by simply going in like Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks is a perfect example. She was on a city bus. She violated a city ordinance that existed in those days. It was a city ordinance that prohibited black people from sitting at the front of the bus. So I mean, if she had the heart to say, no, I will not comply, this is an unjust law. She wasn't a constitutionalist. She just said, no, this is an immoral law. You cannot say just that by the color of my skin, I have to sit in a certain area. The color of a person's skin is of no more significance than the color of their eyes. That's how she knew. It was in her heart. No one had to tell her. Now, we're conditioned to believe that what the government says is legal is safe. I mean, we can talk about guns, marijuana, auditing. They're going to try to silence us further. They're going to keep trying to shut us up, okay? But the thing is you keep pushing forward. You don't allow them to shake you. You don't allow them to break you. A lot of good people, a lot of good men died for this document before it was even on paper, when it was just an idea. When these people back in 1775, I think it was Joseph Warren who was killed in 1775. We didn't have a draft yet for the U.S. Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. It was just an idea, a thought that, you know, maybe all men are created equal. Maybe that we do have inalienable rights. Maybe that all my rights do derive from property. Maybe I have a right to defend my property. And if I have that right to defend my property, don't I have that right to defend it from government? If I acquired my property, if I acquired it through the labor of my time of life and my skill, can I have the right to exclude anyone from government? If we have the right to break off ties from England, don't states have the right to break off ties from the federal government? Don't we have rights? Who made the government? Who birthed them? Who created them? We brought them into this world. Why are people so afraid? Now, what I love about this technology, what I love about YouTube, Facebook, those social media platforms, is that we can use it and connect and share our ideas and unite, but not only unite in just this way of auditing. Second Amendment people, Fourth Amendment people, marijuana, cannabis, that's all property rights. We're all talking about property. First Amendment auditing. First Amendment auditing started with your body, is your number one form of property. Okay? I have a right to life, and it comes from my body. And whatever the ideas my body creates is mine, and I have a right to express it. And yeah, they're going to try to scare us with incarceration. But you know what? Look at Patrick Henry. Give me liberty. Would you rather live on your knees as a slave your whole life? I mean, that's up to you. But this country was founded by men who refused to comply, who didn't want to be controlled. So you just got to ask yourself, what am I willing to risk? What am I willing to give to my family, to my descendants to come? What am I willing to sacrifice? I mean, I'd rather have the trouble come in my day so that my children will know peace. Those are words of great men. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't be ashamed of being who you are. Express your ideas. Share your thoughts. No one can do no harm. Do no harm to me. Don't hurt me. Don't steal from me, and I won't shoot you. Those are some pretty simple rules. And yeah, Facebook is an online surveillance tool. Exactly, it is. If you speak into a phone, you're pretty much being watched, and that's a government intimidation tactic. That is an intimidation method. They want us to know we're being watched. They want us to know that they're watching everything we post and everything we say on Facebook or YouTube, because people who know that are less likely to be politically active. They were trying to revoke my bail, and the most evidence they were using, the majority of the evidence that they were using in that case was Facebook and YouTube posts. They're trying to tell me, we're watching you. You need to stop saying what you're saying. No. No. When tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty. That the tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. What nation can keep its liberties if its rulers aren't reminded from time to time that the people preserve the spirit of resistance? Let them take arms. Let them take arms. Those are men who wrote that U.S. Constitution. These are great men. So I'm already at 20 minutes, guys. Don't want to make it too long. Just kind of wanted to give you an update on where I've been. So this is Josh Martinez signing off. So One City Boys stand for freedom. I love you guys. Remember why we do this. God, country, and family.